The Defense Headquarters has condemned requests for the armed forces to interfere in the nation's democratic process, saying that Nigeria is better under democracy. This comes just after President Bola Tinubu assured Nigerians that his government will make adequate provision for the enhancement of the operational capability of security and law enforcement agencies. The Defense Headquarters was reacting to recent allegations of poor welfare among troops along the services and an alleged request for the military to seize power. In a statement, the Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukur Gusau, described the request as wicked and unpatriotic. Gusau said the attempt will fail, insisting that the military was happy and better under democracy, adding that it will not get involved in any act to sabotage the and end democracy in Nigeria. Speaking about the health and wellness of Nigerian democracy, members of the Senate this past week jumped off on another break after they concluded the screening of President Bola Tinubu's ministers designate. The screening exercise had been shrouded in controversy, sometimes for revelations about academic qualifications of the nominees, and at other times for due process and legal question marks surrounding others. However, not to be outdone, it was Senate President Godswill Akpabio's apparent gaffe in announcing holiday financial largesse for the senators on the floor of the upper chamber of the National Assembly that brought the entire proceeding to a rousing finale. Predictably, much of public opinion has taken the senators to the cleaners for apparently displaying such level of indifference to the worsening economic plight of their countrymen. Eseme Eyiboh is a member of the All Progressives Congress and former member of the House of Representatives from Akwa Ibom State, a position he aspired to return to during the last election. He joins me now to share his thoughts on that statement of support from the military and Senate screening of Tinubu's ministers. Good to see you, Honorable Eseme. Thank you for joining me on this Live, this Sunday talk show.
Ruben, it's a pleasure to be with you in a day like this. Thank you very much.
Okay, Honorable Eseme, first, let me start from the latter part of the commentary. Now, we have seen the screening of ministers. 48 of them, 45 got approved. And in the course of that, the general impression of Nigerians is that, look, these senators, this National Assembly, is operating as if they are running a circus, as if it's a wing of Baba Salah's comedic institution or an Alibaba extension. First, the Senate President came on one occasion. He said, oh, let the poor breathe. And many of us thought that the Senate President was mocking the suffering, long-suffering, oppressed, disoriented people of Nigeria. And then the same Senate President came later and said, oh, we have put some tokens in your account. There was a lot of murmuring from the back. And then he said, oh, we have put prayers. We have communicated prayers to you. Only to turn out that some senators collected 2 million naira. And Nigerians are saying, these people are sharing money when everybody is under stress. And then they've not spent up to 100 days. They are going on recess. And people are saying, these our senators are overpaid and underworked. Where are they going to? They are not coming back until September 26th. And they have collected our money. Token, call it prayers. You used to be one of them. Please, is this how you people were collecting tokens and prayers? It's a serious matter. It is a serious matter.
This is very interesting. Those people who are wanting the Senate to be taken to the cleaners or National Assembly, as a matter of fact, there are those persons with a fertile mind, you know, a fertile mind of mischief. Because let's discuss this and let's be serious about it. Now, these gentlemen were inaugurated on the 13th of June, 13th of July, 13th of August, and going on a break September, then returning back for getting to 3 months, they have not received any salary, they have not received any allowance, they have not received any money of any sort. Now, civil servants, by the time they want to go on holiday or they want to go on break, or sometimes you hear a government at the subnational or even at national saying that these categories of civil servants have now been paid, that these areas of this, that have been paid areas of that. Nobody's talking about it. 2 million naira to be given to a senator. For example, Olu Senatorial District has 13 local government. Eket Senatorial District, where I come from, 12 local government. For you to give a senator 2 million naira, that is not his salary, that is not anything, that is a token, as a matter of fact, to now take to go for a holiday in a 12 local government or a 13 local government, as the case may be. Ruben, you and I will agree that 2 million naira under this hunger and anger will not be able to sustain engagement with your constituents. You agree with me, no doubt about that. So there is no big deal in this issue of 2 million. It's only that the time is a time where majority of our population is going through hunger and anger. And so the issue of rationalization of the entitlement of these people, will you say if it is 2 million naira, assuming that it is a salary, without granted that without conceding, are you saying that for the 4 months it's going to be 500,000 naira allowances, salary, and everything? You know? So I think this set of senators, for example, when House of Representatives went on break, this Senate decided to stay back for the screening. Sometimes they will end as early as 7 p.m. in the night. As early as that, 11 p.m. in the night. And they sit on non-legislative days like Friday, Saturday, and Monday. And I'm thinking such a sacrifice is supposed to be applauded. We're supposed to appreciate that. And beyond it, they were saying that this Senate is likely going to be a rubber stamp Senate under Senator Godswill Akpabio's leadership. But when 48 nominees were sent to the Senate for screening, if it were a rubber stamp, it would have been 48 in and 48 returns. But it wasn't so. They were properly screened, the backgrounds were checked, and all of that. And they declined approval, they declined to give approval to 3 of the nominees because of diligence, because of ethical integrity, because of the institutional values. They did that. And when you weigh that on what, in terms of productivity, what has this Senate actually done that we are saying that they're not supposed to go on break and the money given to them were whatever it is? And at one moment, you've just mentioned here, let Nigerians breathe. What was the kernel of that motion? There was a proposal to the National Assembly, to the Senate particularly, where 40% electricity hike was proposed. And one of the senators got up to amend the motion that with increasing electricity tariff at this time is going to be putting a rope on the neck of an average Nigerian. And that to increase electricity tariff now would not augur well for Nigerians. So if the Senate must do any and everything possible to make sure that this does not happen. In the amendment to that prayer, another senator now said that there should be no increase, no matter the percentage. The Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission and the electricity companies attempted that. And he said Nigerians should be allowed to breathe. We should have just withdrawn fuel subsidy. And now increasing electricity tariff now is going to be tightening the noose of the average Nigerian. They should allow Nigerians to breathe. So I had expected that that intervention stopped the increase in the tariff. And that intervention was to promote the welfare of an average Nigerian. That intervention was intended to make the people feel that the senators are indeed representative of their people and they are not mercantilists. And that ought to have been appreciated. But those of us outside now decided to take the issue of the amendment of that prayer. The amendment of that prayer, His Excellency, the reputable Senate President, put that amendment of that prayer into vote. There is no way he can use his gavel, exercise his discretion. By parliamentary practice, he has to put that amendment into vote. And it was overwhelmingly voted for. And he now came up with those in support and those against. And those in support now won the day. Okay. So now, they now took that out of context. I don't think that was very fair to them. Okay, and Honorable Eyiboh, if you still give me the opportunity.
Honorable Eyiboh.
Sir, yes, sir.
I want to move on to another matter.
Very well, sir, I'm here.
Which is?
Please kindly do, please kindly do.
The list of ministers.
I believe you are satisfied with the previous, yes, go ahead.
In 2022, you said that the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has been turned into a rehabilitation center for former governors. Many of them are still there. Very soon, when the work starts, half of them will be sleeping and snoring on the during plenary sessions. But look at the cabinet list. That cabinet list has 9 governors. Have they not also, this Tinubu administration, not turned the cabinet list into a rehabilitation center for former governors? Do you feel concerned that, in fact, what you complained about in 2022 is worse now? Because many of those governors, some of them have been governors for 8 years. So in a country of 200 million people, are they the only ones here? What do you think?
Well, I know, yes, in 2022, I remember I made a remark like that our electoral process has now began to promote institutional devaluation, where Senate, for example, will gradually become a rehabilitation center for former governors. Yes, I stand by that statement. I made that statement by that time. But now what you are saying is that, or what I am appreciating for what you are saying is that value is a function of cost vis-a-vis. If in the wisdom of Mr. President and the program and policies, he has a manifesto, he set out agenda. There was an agenda that he set out to implement when he becomes the president of the republic. And if within his contemplation and his judgment, he's able to pick either talent hunt or head hunt a certain class of person, regardless of age, who will be able to help him drive that agenda. So well and good. But I'm saying here is, and I consistently say it, within the context of a leadership recruitment culture, we should be able to recruit the right people into right places, regardless of age. And in recruiting the right people into right places as a culture of leadership recruitment, we must be conscious of what are the prescriptions, what do we intend, what kind of yield are we expecting from such persons. Like in the previous administration, the president of the republic was a very intentional man, and of course he still has sufficient integrity. But he recruited people into our national institutions, people who were not supervised, people who were not given templates, people who were made to see their appointments as a national souvenir. I am saying the present president, in appointing whoever is appointing into any office, he has an obligation, he has a responsibility to make sure that these people are not only monitored, there's prescription, performance evaluation must accompany the appointment, to the extent that the derivatives of democracy, which is all about growth, opportunities, and prosperity, is found in the engagement. Because our people can no longer go through all of this. If this is a renewed hope, a new Nigeria, and it is a path we are expecting to have a return on the investment of our core mandates on the people who are representing us both in executive and the legislature, we are also expecting to make sure that our lives will be better with sustainable development targets.
I get your point. The president, we all know that, has a prerogative to choose people, or fire them that can work with him based on his own projections. But this country belongs to all of us. We are all in it together. He can exercise his executive powers under the Constitution. But when you look at the list, do you think that this is an impressive list of 45 people? And why 45, 48? And who stands out for you in that list? Other than the people who have been rehabilitated, some of whom may even be given portfolios that they know nothing about. Who stands out for you on that list?
Well, I can tell you now, it's not a personality profiling we are undertaking, because they said the end justifies the means. You will, even if you go and bring the Pope from the Vatican, you will not be able to predict what is going to be the outcome of his leadership in a national responsibility. I am thinking that we should be patient so far to see what are the portfolios given out, what are the assignments given to them, what are the milestones. There must be prescriptions on what they're supposed to do in their respective appointments, and this should be evaluated. There should be evaluation and monitoring, and whoever is unfit for that position. Remember, in leadership recruitment culture or leadership recruitment process, if you take a very brilliant Dr. Ruben Abati, who is a lawyer and a very good television analyst, and you take him to go and become a a minister for health, he's a very qualified man to be a minister for health. But at the end of the day, the challenge of mobility, child mobility and mortality rate, which is prevalent, and public health challenge, he will not be able to understand it regardless of the very lengthy resume he's parading. And that is in default of leadership recruitment process. So we want to see a situation where the man who is going to serve in Ministry of Works will be able to stem the tide of corruption, to understand that in Bill of Engineering Measurement, there are issues which are built into the quantities to be able to make most of our roads or most of our structures or most of those things, procurements we intend to do, to be in compliance, with good governance. If you go and bring somebody who is not well equipped in that respect, he will go and be carrying staff, covering cap, to go and go through inspection of an engineering site. And meanwhile, the civil servants, the directors of work, the electrical directors, and the rest of them are experts. So he will be living at the mercy of those people. I am wanting to see a situation where we have a match of the expertise of the appointee, with the challenge of our national aspirations and urges. That's what I want to see.
Okay.
And Mr. President is not enough to headhunt. It's not enough, sir.
Well, I just wanted to thank you that you said commissioner. Hello, and then you corrected yourself, knowing that a man like me it will be an insult to offer me a commissionership position. In life, you get too big. You get too big for certain things.
I meant to say ministerial. If you were a military government, we'll make you a prime minister.
But it's okay. It's okay. Just to thank you for recognizing that there are levels in this game. But let me ask you.
I really appreciate that.
Let's talk about Niger. I discussed that with our previous guest. The Senate made a resolution and communicated same in writing to the president to say, don't commit Nigeria to any act of aggression in Niger. Is it standard practice for the president of Nigeria to ignore the Senate, particularly when troops are to be committed? What do you think? Because it looks like Nigeria wants to go to Niger now.
The president in the first place was constitutionally obliged to write to the Senate on that. And he obeyed the constitutional provisions by writing to the Senate to seek approval. But the Senate also rose to the occasion by doing what is expected in democracy. What about the issue of the separation of powers, the issue of institutional integrity? So they went through, they engaged the request of the president robustly, and they diligently went through the process of engaging that request and came up with a conclusion that the president should further diplomatic engagement and not military action. The position of the Senate was reinforced recently when the ECOWAS heads of government, regardless of the proviso, they said standby troop, but of course they all submitted to the superior argument of the Nigerian Senate. And what I'm trying to say is that we should applaud the Senate for standing up and of course being independent and having the institutional integrity to be able to protect all of us by not allowing that request to come and carry go as a process. They have done that. But I've not heard anybody commenting the Senate for doing that. I have not heard anybody commenting the Senate for intervening in the Nigerian Labour Congress thing. I've not heard anybody commenting the Senate in the intervention of Nigerian resident doctors' strike. But however, I am saying that the Senate have taken that position, and today, as we speak, the coup plotters, the juntas, are now saying they are open for discussion, which of course, it is an attitude we were all expecting instead of going to military engagement. So I thump up for our Senate, and I thump up for the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, for rising beyond that general perception that he's going to lead a rubber-stamped Senate. He's done quite well, and they deserve the holiday. Okay,
maybe it's early days yet to begin to commend the 10th National Assembly. That's what most people...
No, this is a milestone. They are going to clock 100 days in office. This is a milestone. So if they have done well now, we must tell them that they have done well. By the time they are not doing well, some of us will also come out to say they are not doing well. So let's use respective milestone to encourage. Yes.
Okay, other people have different opinions. Finally, before I come to the panel, already seated in the studio, what do you think of what some people say is a poor handling of the Nigerian economy by President Tinubu? A poor handling of the economy that has thrown almost everybody into grief.
Well, I can tell you that I won't say poor handling. I would say a policy or policies that have occasioned a very difficult time. Recall when last week, where the Director General of the World Trade Organization, our own Ngozi Iweala, came in. I remember the comments she made. And she even said that she has been receiving congratulatory messages from world leaders and organizations across the globe. And I definitely know Dr. Ruben Abati is very conscious and aware of this because of a couple of these policies. And that even by December, some manufacturing multinationals will be coming into this country. The difficulties that we are all going through, you and I, we are experiencing it, is quite understood. We recall there was some time ago when we first had telecommunication companies that came in. The first telecom company that came in, we got recharge card. I bought recharge card for 50,000 naira. Later they said it was not possible to do per second call. It has to be 1 minute. Later on, another organization came in. And today, we are not only talking about per second, we are also talking about a woof, you know. So there is a lot of competition and all of that. That is the interplay of market forces. And I have no doubt in my mind that the issue like the unification of the Naira, the exchange rate, has potential to trigger, you know, unprecedented investment, because every investor deserves a return on his investment. I recall the way some people, I know of somebody, as a matter of fact, who was he called himself an importer, but he would take as much dollars as 50 million US dollars from the CBN then. And he said he wanted to import. He was not importing anything, as he was taking at 465 naira per dollar. He was taking it to the black market to go and sell at 750 then. And he was making that humongous profit and living in a 10-star hotel here. And today, he has packed out of the hotel because that round tripping is no longer possible. But a lot of us will not feel the impact of the round tripping and the impact of whatever what is activity in the economy. Look at the issue of the subsidy. How many people benefited from the subsidy? Dr. Reuben is driving a vehicle that has 105 liters and he fills his tank every 2 days. But the common man in the street was patronizing a 30-seater bus that has a capacity for 52 liters of fuel. So the man who is fueling his car with 52 liters of fuel will be doing that from Monday through Friday, only once. But Dr. Reuben's vehicle that consumes 105 liters within 2 days, you know. So government will be subsidizing Dr. Reuben and not the common man, because that coaster bus is carrying 30 people, 30 to 30 back, 60 people a day, times 5 days. That is 300. So we must show understanding.
Honorable Eyiboh, well, I've added, I don't buy fuel 100 liters, you know, twice a week. In fact, I've joined trekking, so my regime. In fact, I'm learning how to ride bicycle now at old age. So that is the truth. At the end of the day, all of us are trekking.
It is an alternative and a choice.
Well, all of us are trekking because we can't mobilize enough cash.
But it will get better. It will get better.
Anyway,
I must tell you, it will get better. I can tell you.
I
only pray that we should all be alive to see when this country is going to be great again.
Well, they say trekking is good exercise. So maybe that's what some of us are benefiting from it. When we trek from one end of town to the other, to be able to get to the studio. But thank you very much, Honorable Eseme Eyiboh, for joining me on this Live, this Sunday Talk Show.
Thank you.